Good morning. So this is our second session. Yesterday I wanted to cover 5 aspects relating to universal human values, but I could cover only 3 of them. So let me cover the remaining 2 aspects. And these remaining 2 aspects, out of these 2 aspects, the first one is 3 powers. 3 powers which are at the base of all universal human values. You can define it in other words also. There are 3 major powers that uplift human being to higher and higher normative levels. Normative means prescriptive level. Up to a desired level, prescriptive level. 3 major powers. And through all value education, ultimately we want to infuse these 3 powers into the being, into the heart of the learners. These 3 things. So Professor Kirit Joshi says that it appears that there are 3 major powers. 3 major powers that uplift life to higher and higher normative levels. Normative levels means prescriptive levels. Prescriptive levels. And one of the prescription, as yesterday we have discussed, life has to be a journey. Life has to be a journey from unreal to real. Unreal to real. Life has to be a journey from darkness to light. Life has to be a journey from mortality to immortality. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamasu ma jyotirgamaya, mrittur ma amritam gamaya. So this is what has been prescribed. So life has to be uplifted. Life has to be transformed to these higher and higher normative levels. And for that purpose, you need 3 powers. And what are those 3 powers? He says, and the value of these powers, if well illustrated, if we could well illustrate, could be effectively conveyed to the learners for their upliftment. If these 3 powers could be well illustrated, then it could be effectively conveyed. To the learners for their upliftment. And these 3 powers are, namely, first one is called illumination. Illumination is a power. Second one is heroism. Heroism. Because coward cannot make world beautiful. Coward cannot fulfill his or her life. You have to inculcate heroism within you. This is the great. Without this heroism, you cannot materialize, you cannot manifest any human values into your being. So heroism is the second power. And the third one is harmony. Because nothing is in harmony. Everything has to be harmonized. The power of harmony. Harmony between your families, harmony between nations, harmony between friends, harmony between different subjects, harmony between different parts of the body. Because my vital has a different demand, my mind has a mind's demand is not similar to that of vital. Body's demand is not similar to that of mind. Heart has a separate demand. Soul has a separate demand. So everything has to be harmonized. So we want the power of harmony. How to harmonize all these conflicting issues among nations, among societies, among family members, among our different subjects. So these are the 3 powers: illumination, heroism, and the harmony, power of harmony. But then, what is the meaning of Then illumination. What is illumination? If you were asked, what is illumination? Professor Kirit Joshi says illumination is ignition. Ignition. Ignition means prajwalan. Ignition. Ignition of what? Ignition of inner light. Illumination has nothing to do with your outer intellectuality. Illumination is an ignition. Ignition of what? Ignition of your inner light. This is the first concept. Ignition of your inner light. And what is its purpose? What is its purpose? The meaning and value of substance and life movement. There are different movements of life. Jibanor kisuman goti ase amar. So, and everything has a value. But how the value of substance is to be understood? How the value of substance is to be comprehended? How the value of substance is to be seized? How the value of substance is to be held? How the value of substance is to be possessed? It is only through illumination. That is to say, it is only through ignition of your inner light. Outer intellectuality cannot seize the value of a substance. There has to be illumination. There has to be, your inner light has to be ignited. So this is the first purpose. Meaning and value of substance and life movement are understood, are comprehended, are held, are possessed, are seized by this power of inner light. More specifically, by the power of ignition of inner light, which is called illumination. And without this illumination, you cannot materialize any human values. Illumination has to be manifested within you. There has to be illumination. Illumination has to take place. And it could be further explained. What is illumination? Illumination stimulates. Stimulates whom? Stimulates you, stimulates me. Whose inner light is ignited. This inner light stimulates you. This inner light stimulates me. Not only stimulating, inner light inspires me. Inspires me to what? Inspires my guided action. Then if there is illumination in me, then my action will be guided action. It's not guardianless action, guideless action, no. Then my illumination will continue to guide me. My illumination, my ignition of inner light will continue to guide me. Right now we are orphan. Who are guiding you right now? Nobody is guiding you. Nobody is guiding you. There has to be a guide. Without guide, nobody can fulfill his or her life. So this illumination is ultimately your guide. And what type of guide? Stimulating guide, inspiring guide. It inspires also. Not only it guides you, it inspires you as well. In what? In action, application, as well as in creativity. In all these three areas, action, application, and creativity. If you are to apply some knowledge, if you want to apply a particular knowledge on a certain field, then you have to have illumination. Without this ignition of inner light, who will be inspiring you? Who will be guiding you? Who will be stimulating you? So this is the purpose of illumination. And it culminates in joy. It culminates in delight. It culminates even in ecstasy. Ecstasy means Paramananda. When there is illumination within you, when there is when inner light is ignited in you, then all your action will provided you delight also. All your action will give you joy, delight, even ecstasy. Ecstasy means paramananda, the highest delight, highest delight. So this illumination ultimately culminates in joy, delight, and ecstasy. And not only joy, delight, and ecstasy, it gives us weight, depth, and height of the light and vision. Light and vision. And when this illumination reaches the splendor and glory of synthesis and harmony, which means when this illumination is united with the splendors of harmony and synthesis, then what happens? Then illumination ripens into wisdom. That is why illumination and harmony is interrelated. When illumination is united with harmony, when illumination is united with synthesis, synthesis and harmony is almost same meaning. Almost same meaning. Then what happens? Then illumination ripens into wisdom. It does not remain knowledge only. It ripens into wisdom. It ripens into wisdom. And wisdom too has varying degrees. Wisdom has its varying degrees. It can and what wisdom will do for us? It will uncover powers of knowledge and action. It will uncover powers and knowledge and action, revealing unsuspected secrets and unimagined skills of art, craft, creativity, and effectiveness. So that is why illumination is so important. Let me now quote the exact paragraph as written by Professor Kirit Joshi, late Professor Kirit Joshi. Illumination is that ignition of inner light in which meaning and value of substance and life movement are seized, understood, comprehended, held, and possessed, stimulating and inspiring guided action and application and creativity, culminating in joy, delight, even ecstasy. The width, depth, and height of the light and vision determine the degree of illumination. And when they reach the splendor and glory of synthesis and harmony, illumination ripens into wisdom. Wisdom too has varying degrees that can uncover powers of knowledge and action which reveal unsuspected secrets and unimagined skills of art and craft of creativity and effectiveness. So illumination is the foundation. Without illumination, you can pass a physical life only, but for the fulfillment, but for the glory of your life, illumination has to take place. This ignition of inner light. And the second power is heroism. What is heroism? What is heroism? Heroism to আমি কাৰোবাক শত্ৰুক মাৰিম, কাৰোবাক বিৰক্ত দেখাম, এই কথাটো নেকি? Heroism, what is heroism? Heroism is inspired force. Heroism is a force, এটা শক্তি. Inspired force. Inspired force. Heroism also self-giving. আত্ম উৎসৰ্গা কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব. যিসকলে শ্বহীদবিলাকক আমি হিৰো বুলি কওঁ, কিয়? Because they gave their life for their motherland. Self-giving, power of self-giving. Heroism means power of self-giving. The highest human values. There can't be, above these three powers, there can't be any highest universal human values. Heroism is one of the highest universal human values because it is inspired force, self-giving and sacrificing. Coward cannot sacrifice. Coward cannot sacrifice. Coward cannot give his or her life for a greater cause. Only hero can give his life. And without heroism, world will never progress. We cannot make world perfected without heroism. We have to have heroism. So, first definition is heroism is inspired force, self-giving, and sacrificing in the operation of will applied to the quest. So first, heroism is inspired force, self-giving and sacrificing. This is the first definition, first characteristics of heroism. In the operation of will applied to the quest. So when you will be doing something, when you will be exploring something, what is necessary? This heroism is necessary. Without heroism, you cannot explore, you cannot go to the last stage. And without heroism, there will be no quality of perseverance in you. And without perseverance, you cannot reach to the top. You just cannot reach the top. So, in the operation of will applied to the quest, realization and triumph of meaning and value. Then against the resistance of limitations and obstacles. It is a force. Against what? Against resistance of limitations and obstacles. So heroism is a force against what? Against the limitation and obstacles. Heroism. By means of what? By means of courage, battle and adventure. So these three are the elements of heroism. Courage, battle and adventure. Adventure, battle and courage, these three are the elements of heroism. Without courage, nobody can become hero. Without battle, nobody can become hero. Without adventure, nobody can hope to become hero. And how the degrees and height of heroism is determined? Because everything has its own degrees. The degrees and height of heroism is determined by the intensity, persistence and vastness of sacrifice. So, the degrees and height of heroism will be determined by what? By the intensity, persistence and vastness of sacrifice. Because heroism is also a self-giving force. Heroism is also related to self-sacrificing. The highest states of greatness and refinement, when it is guided by the highest wisdom and inspired by the sense of service, when tasks are executed with consummate skills, then the height of heroism is reached. So this is what is called heroism in a very simple word. Now let me quote the exact paragraph. He says, heroism is essentially inspired force and self-giving and sacrificing. In the operation of will, that is applied to the quest, realization and triumph of meaning and value against the resistance of limitation and obstacles. by means of courage, battle, and adventure. By means is courage, battle, and adventure. There are degrees and heights of heroism, determined by the intensity, persistence, and vastness of sacrifice. Heroism attains the highest states of greatness and refinement when it is guided by the highest wisdom. When it is guided by the highest wisdom. And that is why illumination is the first necessity. And when it is guided by the highest wisdom and inspired by the sense of service to the ends of justice and harmony. So what is the ultimate ends of heroism? Justice and harmony. Hero has to bring justice to the society, justice to the world, as well as when tasks are executed with consummate skills. So heroism without consummate skill, one cannot become hero. One cannot become hero. So this is what heroism is meant precisely in a concise conception. Now the harmony. What is harmony? Harmony is actually a progressive state. Harmony is a progressive state. What is progressive state means what? Action of synthesis and equilibrium. So harmony means equilibrium. And the opposite is conflict, disequilibrium, because my heart demands something which is not similar to the demand of my mind. So there is a disequilibrium. If harmony is to take place, then there has to be equilibrium. And that is why harmony is a progressive state. But what is the meaning of progressive state? It is an action of synthesis and equilibrium. Without synthesis, without equilibrium, there is no meaning of harmony. And how it is generated? How harmony can be generated? It is generated by the creative force of joy. So joy is very important. Ananda, spurti. So generated by the creative force of joy and beauty and delight. Spurti, ananda, saundorya. These are its power. Without beauty, without delight, without joy, you cannot bring harmony. And it combines and unites knowledge and peace and stability. And what harmony does? Harmony combines and unites knowledge and peace and stability. When there will be harmony, peace will take place. When there is harmony, knowledge will take place. When there is harmony, stability will take place. Because this harmony unites and combines knowledge, peace and stability. Why? Because harmony is generated by what? Generated by beauty, delight and joy. When there is joy, there will be knowledge. And knowledge, peace and stability with will and action and growth and development. So ultimately for development, harmony is precondition. For growth, harmony is a precondition. For action, harmony is a precondition. For the generation of will, harmony is a precondition. And without harmony, there is no perfection. Without harmony, there is no perfection. Even though there could be maximization of one or more elements of our nature. Okay, without harmony, you can develop one part of your being, but there will be no integral development or holistic development of your being. Harmony has to take place for an integral or holistic development of our being. To say, when illumination and heroism join, what happens? when illumination and heroism join and engender relations of mutuality and unity, each is perfected by other and creativity is then endless. So when these three things are combined, harmony, heroism and illumination, what will happen? The relations of mutuality and unity, and each is perfected by the other and creativity is then endless. So these three things are necessary. But how I can ignite my inner life, how I can develop this power of harmony, how I can develop the power of heroism. There are lots of disciplines available in India. I will not be discussing those things today. My preliminary purpose to awaken you to this preliminary concept only. So let me quote the exact paragraph. So harmony is a progressive state and action of synthesis and equilibrium, generated by the creative force of joy and beauty and delight, that combines and unites knowledge and peace and stability with what? Combines knowledge, peace and stability with what? With will and action and growth and development. So this harmony will ultimately combine peace, knowledge and stability with what? With growth, development, action and will. Without harmony, there is no perfection. Even though there could be maximization of one or more elements of our nature, one part of nature you can develop without harmony, but not the holistic development of your being. When illumination and heroism join and engender relations of mutuality and unity, each is perfected by the other and creativity is endless. Engender means জন্ম দিয়া, অর্থাৎ আমি এনেকেও লাইনটো মাতিব পাৰোঁ, when illumination and heroism join and gives birth to relations of mutuality and unity, then each is perfected by the other. So harmony is perfected by illumination, illumination is perfected by harmony, heroism is perfected by harmony, and harmony is perfected by heroism. Each is perfected by the other and creativity is then endless. So this is the three powers I have to explain. Now let me discuss five reasons why we need human values. Why we need human values. Actually, human values means human culture. There is very little difference between values and culture. These are almost similar thing. So, why we need human values? The first purpose, there are specifically five purposes. First, to lead him means to lead humanity. To lead humanity to knowledge. To lead humanity to knowledge. Why? Because you are born without knowledge. We are born without knowledge. We start our life without knowledge. That is why there is a necessity to lead us towards knowledge. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamosu ma jyotirgamaya. Tamosu ma jyotirgamaya is a necessity. Why necessity? Because we start from an unfathomable ignorance. We start from an unfathomable ignorance. That is why it is a necessity. There is a necessity to lead humanity towards knowledge or towards knowledge. But even without knowledge, you can survive physically. Only to survive physically, knowledge is not required. Knowledge is required for a higher life, for the fulfillment of life. Knowledge is not required for mere physical survival. For mere physical survival, knowledge is not required. Only power is required. Money, power, anna, vastra, bakastan, food, shelter, these are sufficient for our physical survival. So this is the first reason why we need human values, human culture, human education, everything. First, second. Second, to teach him to live by his reason. আমি যাতে যুক্তিৰ দ্বাৰা নিজক পৰিচালিত কৰোঁ। জন্তুবিলাকে জানো নিজক যুক্তিৰ দ্বাৰা পৰিচালিত কৰে? যুক্তিৰ দ্বাৰা পৰিচালিত নকৰে কাৰণে there is disharmony among in their kingdom. So there is a necessity of reason in our life. We can't be unreasonable. So why we need universal human values? Why we need human culture? Because we are to be led. We are to be led to reason. We are taught to live by reason. We are to be taught. আমাক শিকাব লাগিব. We are to be taught to live by reason. Why? Why? Because though actually he lives much more by his unreason. Without this education, without these human values, normally we live by unreason. Unreason means by the demand of my emotion. As I told you yesterday, a 10-year boy committed suicide. Why committed suicide? Why he committed suicide? Because his mother could not give him a mobile. Because he was guided by his desire nature. He was not guided by reason. So there is a necessity to teach reason. And that is why we need human values or human culture. So this is the second reason. And what is the third reason? Why we need universal human values? Because we are to be taught. Because we are to be taught to live by the law of good and unity. We are to live for good and unity. Without human values, we would not have advocated for unity among us. Sri Aurobindo says there are 4 elements or there are 4 aspects of an ideal society. You may call it foundations of an ideal society. What are those? Knowledge, then unity, then power, then freedom. Without these 4 elements, you cannot build an ideal society. These 4 are strong necessities. You can build ordinary society, but you can't build ideal society without knowledge, without power, without unity, and without freedom. A subjugated society cannot make it an ideal one. You have to have freedom. You have to have unity. So, we are to be taught. We are to be taught to live by good and unity. Why? Because right now I am full of evil and discord. Without these human values, I live by evil and discord. And that is why human values are necessary to teach us to live by good and unity. Because right now I am full of evil and discord. This is the third necessity. And what is the fourth necessity? We are to be taught to live by the law of beauty. We are to be taught We are to be taught to live by beauty and harmony. Though my actual life is a repulsive model of ugliness and jarring barbarism. যদি আমাৰ এই হিউম্যান ভ্যালুজবোৰ নাথাকিলহেঁতেন, যদি মানৱ সংস্কৃতি নাথাকিলহেঁতেন, শিক্ষা যদি নাথাকিলহেঁতেন, আমি এটা বৰ্বৰতাৰ জঘন্য স্তূপ হলোহেঁতেন, আমি এটা কুৎসিত হৈ থাকিলোহেঁতেন। আমাক সৌন্দৰ্যবোধৰ প্ৰয়োজন আছে। ভাৰতত সেইকাৰণে ভাৰতীয় নন্দন তত্ত্ব বুলি, ইণ্ডিয়ান এস্থেটিক্স বুলি দিয়াৰ ইজ এ ডিচিপ্লিন। Aesthetics. This is the fourth necessity. To live by the law of beauty, to live by the law of reason, to live by the good and unity, and to live by knowledge. These are four necessities. Knowledge, reason, good and unity, and fourth is law of beauty. Law of beauty and harmony. So these are four ordinary necessities applicable to whole world. It is universal human values. It is universal human culture. But in India, we have another necessity, and this is the highest necessity. What is that necessity? We are to be taught to live by some high law of my spirit. I am not only to be guided by my outer mind. I am not only to be guided my instinct for desire, but I am to be guided by the inner light of my spirit. That is to say, is illumination. So, by some high law of his spirit, why I am to be guided by some high law of the spirit? Because at present I am egoistic. Because at present I am egoistic. I am materialistic. At present I am unspiritual, engrossed by the needs and desires of my physical being. And that is why I am to be guided by the light of my inner spirit. Without the light of this inner spirit, I will remain egoistic. I will remain materialistic. I will remain, or I will caught imprisoned in the perilous prison cell of my desire and needs of my physical being. I will remain a slave of my body, mind and vital. And that is why there is a necessity to be guided by the law of my inner spirit. And Sri Aurobindo says, I have derived these things only from Sri Aurobindo's writing, from his Foundations of Indian Culture. And he says, India regards this fifth necessity as the highest necessity of human values or human culture. And if you are guided by the fifth reason, then other four things will be automatically included in the number fifth. If you are guided by the inner law of the spirit, then you will be automatically led towards knowledge. You will be automatically learn to live by reason. You will be automatically learn to live by good and unity. You will be automatically learn to live by law of beauty and harmony, if you are guided by your inner spirit. That is why India focuses on this fifth necessity more prominently. So this is the 5 necessities of universal human values. In a nutshell, without the human values, without the human culture, we will remain literally animal. So whether you will be whether you will be glorifying your life, whether you will be raising your life to higher and higher prescriptive level, higher normative level, or you will be content only with animalhood, Anna Vastra Bahastan, Ahar Nidra Moitun. It is up to your wisdom. It is up to your choice. It is up to your freedom. So this is the second thing. Now let me, as you are youth and you are student, you are definitely formal student. But are you really youth? Are you really youth? Or our Honorable Prime Minister is youth? Or I am youth? Or whether you are youth? Does youth depend only on numbers of years or something else? So now I will be discussing the values associated with youth. Who is youth? In order to qualify as youth, what values you are to inculcate? What values you are to inculcate? So let me discuss. Here I will be deriving my text from the writings of the mother. But who is mother? This will only suffice. By mother, we mean the spiritual collaborator of Sri Aurobindo. Who is Sri Aurobindo? Because Sri Aurobindo is my soul teacher. He is physically right now no more in this physical world. I get all my light from the writings of Sri Aurobindo and the mother only. And who is Sri Aurobindo? You can well search on the Google. I am not going to explain who is he. But who is mother? As now I will be discussing few things from Upanishads and few things from the writings of the mother. Mother is officially, she is the spiritual collaborator of Sri Aurobindo. But we the devotee adore her. We the devotee, this is only applicable for us, not for you. For you, this is suffice, this will be sufficient. She is the spiritual collaborator of Sri Aurobindo. But for us, we adore her as the incarnation of the Supreme Divine Mother. This is only for us. And Mother says a strange thing. He says, I have known old people of 20. কৈছে মই 20 বছৰীয়া বৃদ্ধ দেখা পাইছো. What a funny thing she is saying. He says, I have known old people of 20 and young of 70. মাদাৰে হেনো 70 বছৰীয়া যুৱক দেখা পাইছে আৰু 20 বছৰীয়া বৃদ্ধ দেখা পাইছে. By this utterance, she has rejected that youth is not related to numbers of years you have passed in this world. But then who is youth? Who is youth? You will not automatically be regarded as youth. Some values, some qualities has to be associated with you. Then only you will be called youth. Without those qualities, without those values, you may even be regarded as old people. And that is why Mother says youth does not depend on the small number of years one has lived, but on the capacity to grow and progress. This is the key word. But on the capacity to grow and progress. If you don't have the capacity to grow, you are not young. you don't have the capacity to progress, you are not young. Even at the age of 90, one has the capacity to grow, one has the capacity to progress, she or he will be regarded as young. Even at the age of 90. So this is the key word. First quality or necessity or values, capacity to grow and capacity to progress. But then what is the meaning of capacity to grow? And what is the meaning of capacity to progress? Unless and until it is explained, it is a vague statement only. What is the meaning of capacity to grow? And what is the meaning of capacity to progress? Mother says, to grow is to increase one's potentialities and capacity. I would like to remind you to the third conception of the ancient Indian vision of education, which we did discuss yesterday. Manifestation and expression of powers and potentialities latent within the being. So you must have the capacity, you must have the capacity to increase your potentialities. This is what is called power to grow. If you are not increasing your potentialities, then you are not growing. Then you are not young, even at the age of 20. Not only potentialities, you are to continuously increase your capacity to. If you cannot, you are not young. Then what is the meaning of progressing? What is the meaning of to progress? To progress is to make constantly more perfect the potentialities one already possesses. So suppose you possess certain potentialities. You are to constantly perfect them. Bhupen Hazarikai kijani জীৱনৰ শেষ পাৰফৰ্মেন্সটো তেওঁ আগৰ দিনৰ পাৰফৰ্মেন্সটোতকৈ ভাল কৰিবলৈ যত্ন কৰিছিল। A continuous process of perfection. Why? Perfection is infinite. You cannot reach perfection. Perfection is just a state of equilibrium. If I have reached this stage, another stage will I will see, then next stage. So perfection perfection is an infinite concept. So you are to constantly perfect your potentialities, your capacities you are already possessing. If you are not perfecting, that means you are not progressing. You don't have the capacity to progress, then you are not young. But firstly, you are to increase your capacities, you are to increase your potentialities. What is called to grow. And what is to progress? You are to progress. You are to constantly perfect your potentialities, your capacities you are already possessing. So constant perfection of the potentialities already you are possessing is the meaning of progressing. And increasing one's potentialities, one's capacities is the meaning of growing. So without the capacity to grow and progress, you are not young. So this is the first concept or value system. Capacity to grow and capacity to progress. Then Upanishads. There are 18 major Upanishads. One of them is called Taittiriya Upanishad. And there is a chapter which is called Brahmananda Valli. Brahmananda means Brahma Ananda. The Ananda of the Brahma is measured in that chapter, has been quantified. The Ananda of the Brahman, Upanishad is trying to quantify. And in that occasion, I will not be dealing with that part of thing. But while quantifying, while attempting to quantify the Ananda of Brahman, Upanishads, that is to say, Taittiriya Upanishads indirectly gives us 6 qualities of youth. Without those qualities, you will not be called youth. 6 qualities of youth. If you claim yourself to be youth, you have to have those 6 qualities. What are those 6 qualities? Upanishad says this sloka goes like this: Yuva swat sadhu jubak sadhu juba thayaka. That means one has to be excellent. One has to be Ramaniya. If you are not excellent, even at the age of 20, according to Upanishad, you are not young. Compulsorily, you has to be excellent. This is the first quality, first value. If you claim yourself to be youth, you have to be excellent. In Assamese, you may call it, you have to be Ramaniya. You have to be Shrestha. Shrestha. Excellent means Shrestha. You have to be excellent in every field. Whether in the field of heroism, whether in the field of action, whether in the field of aesthetics, whether in the field of athletics, you have to be excellent. Then only you will be called young. And second, you have to be lovely. And ugly is not considered to be young. You have to be lovely. This lovely is nothing to do with your physical loveliness. It is the inner loveliness. You have to be Ramaniya. Lovely means Ramaniya. I do not know whether fair and lovely can make you lovely or not. I am personally not aware. But according to Upanishad, if you claim yourself to be young, then you have to be lovely. This is the second quality. That is to say, you have to be Ramaniya. And third quality is you have to be a great student. If even at the age of 90, one is a great student, one is lovely, one is excellent, he will be called young. And even at the age of 25, one is devoid of loveliness, one is devoid of studentship, one is devoid of, he has no excellence in anything, he will not be regarded or he will be not called a young. This is the first set of 3 qualities. And the remaining 3 qualities are, one has to have fair manners. One has to have fair manner. The slok is Asishtu, Drihishtu, Bolishta. Asishtu, Drihishtu, Bolishta. That is to say, fair manners. Hot Swabhav Chukta. Even at the age of 20, a rapist will not be regarded as young. Young has to be a hero. And heroism is a quality, heroism is a power. Heroism is not something to be related to barbarism. So the first quality of the second category is one has to have fair manners, hot swabhav. Number second, he has to have a most firm heart. A 20-year boy or girl with a narrow heart will not be called young. He has to have a broad heart. He has to He has the capacity to embrace the whole universe. Like the Upanishadic rishis, you have to have heart to utter Vasudhaiva is Kutumbakam. Whole world is my family. You must have that heart. With a narrow heart, you will not be called young. And the third quality of the second category is you have to have great strength, balishta. So these are the 6 qualities. Excellent, you have to be excellent, you have to be lovely, you have to be a great student, you have to have fair manners, you have to have a most firm heart, and you have to have great strength. Then only according to Upanishads, according to Taittiriya Upanishad, you will be called young. Otherwise not. So now, let me discuss about the values associated with aim in life. Values associated with aim in life. Values associated with aim in life. Aim in life, values. What are the values that are associated with the aim in life? With the aim in life. So this is again from the writings of the mother. The first value associated with aim in life. Mother says, an aimless life is always a miserable life. You have to have at least one aim in life. If you don't have, then your life is bound to be miserable. An aimless life is a miserable life. Always a miserable life. Whether this aim is small or great, you have to have at least one aim in your life. First thing. Second, say every one of you should have an aim, but do not forget that on the quality of your aim will depend the quality of your life. So the aim, the quality of the aim chosen by you, your life will depend on the quality of your aim. If the quality is great, then your life will be great. If the quality is inferior, then your life will be inferior. So this is the second thing. So that the quality of your aim will depend on the quality of your life. your aim should be high and wide then. Whether you will be having a wide and high aim or not, it's up to your wisdom. But this is the theory. Your aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. It has to be generous also. It has to be high also. It has to be wide also. It has to be disinterested. This will make your life precious to yourself as well as to others. Otherwise, your life will not be precious for others. May be precious only for you. You have to be caught imprisoned for the whole life within the perilous prison cell of your ego. What is ego? Ego is nothing but separative consciousness. The consciousness which has separated me from the whole world. I am Diganta Vishwa Sharma. I am not world. I am separated from the world. I cannot atar vasudhaiva kutumbakam because I am separated from the whole world. So that is why what is said, your aim should be high and wide, generous and disinterested. This will make your life precious to yourself and to others. Buddha's life is precious not only for himself but for the whole of humanity. But whether your aim will be high or wide, whether your aim will be disinterested or interested, I do not know. I cannot prescribe for yourself. I can only explain, but it ultimately depends on your wisdom. But one thing, and again, but whatever your ideal, it cannot perfectly be realized unless you have realized perfection in yourself. Again, perfection is the agenda. And that is why Vivekananda says, Vivekananda gives one-liner definition of education. He says, manifestation of perfection already in man. Education is the manifestation of perfection. He did not say like this, acquiring of information is education. Vivekananda says, manifestation of perfection, which is already in me. Once what happened, a student reading in 8th standard, perhaps it was in Laipuli Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya. I was delivering a lecture on education, and after the lecture is over, when interactive session began, a student reading in class 8 asked me, sir, you are telling that education is manifestation of perfection already in man. This 8-year boy asked me, sir, if perfection is already within us, why it needs to be re-manifested again? What a valid question he asked me. But I will not be answering if you do not ask me. I gave him the answer because he asked me. He says, if a perfection is already within us, why it needs to be manifested again? So India always regards this agenda of perfection. The third element of ancient India's vision of education was manifestation of latent potentialities within the being and the expression of perfection within the being. So perfection is the agenda, because without perfection, whatever your aim in life is, you cannot realize it without the realization of perfection. So perfection is the agenda. And now let me, we are already, perhaps we have just 5 to 10 minutes. So let me discuss another thing. But right now, youth generation across the world across the world is concerned only with four things. They are generally not concerned about glorification of their life, fulfillment of their life. Their aim in life is consisting only with four elements. What are those four elements? First one is career. You have to have a livelihood, because we know we have not manifested the powers latent within the being. I cannot be self-employed. I cannot be a employer. I cannot be a job giver. I have to have a job seeker. This is my destiny. I have accepted. I cannot become a job creator like Jamshedji Tata. I can only be a job beggar. This is my destiny. But I am not prepared to be a job seeker. I am born to be a king. I am not born to be a beggar. I am born to be a beggar. But career is a necessity. কিন্তু মই যেতিয়া চাকৰি কৰিম, I will not work as a servant. Then how I will work? I will work as a collaborator. I am not ready to serve as a servant. I will only be collaborating. When you will be able to collaborate? And what is the meaning of collaboration and what is the meaning of servitude? Suppose you just imagine, one day you are fired from your job and you became helpless. Apni goi apunar employer ok koise sir muk sakori pra nekhe dibo. Karon muk sakori pra khedile mur ghorot poriyal ase, mur ki koise ma deuta ase kenake kam. That means you were not collaborating. You are so far servant. And what is the meaning of collaboration? যেতিয়া আপুনি গৈ ৰেজিগনেশ্যন লেটাৰ লিখি দিছে, আপোনাক এমপ্লয়াৰে কৈছে ডোন্ট লিভ আছ, তোমাৰ কি হৈছে প্ৰব্লেম? বোলে নহয় ছাৰ, মই বেলেগ এটা কোম্পানীত 20,000 টকা বেছি পাইছোঁ, মই তোমাক 30,000 দিন বেছি কৰিম। তাৰ মানে ইউ আৰ কোলাবৰেটিং, ইউ আৰ সামথিং কন্ট্ৰিবিউটিং। And when you will be able to collaborate, when you will be manifesting your own powers, apart from your information. So, doing service is not a crime, but doing service as a servant is definitely a crime. So, if possible, prepare yourself to become a collaborator. You should not be ready to be a servant. But this is the first concern of the young generation across the world. And what is the second? Second is after career. Second aspiration is money. But how much money? Simply I do not know. How much money I will need? Simply I do not know. পৃথিৱীৰ যিজন শ্ৰেষ্ঠ গণিতজ্ঞ তেওঁ কেলকুলেট কৰি দিব নোৱাৰিব how much money actually I need in my life. What is my desire level? I do not know simply. In India, God is said to be infinite. I do not know whether God is infinite or finite, but our hunger for money is infinite. Definitely. This is our second aim in life. We want infinite amount of money. Why? We do not know. It is a great mystery. We all run after money, and that too infinite amount of money. Money is a necessity. Money is a power. Money is a necessity. But hunger for infinite money is a necessity or not, I am not aware. I do not know whether hunger for infinite money is a necessity. And when there will be hunger, there will be servitude. If you have greed, you have to serve others. Without serving others, you cannot fulfill your greed. And then after money, suppose you have earned lots of money, crores of money. You have become Elon Musk. Then what you will need? I have infinite amount of money. I do not know how much money, how much bank balance I have. Only my accountant knows. I do not know. Then what I will do? Then I will have pain. মোক খ্যাতি লাগিব। একো নহ'লেও অন্তত গাঁৱৰ সৰস্বতী পূজাৰ মই ছেক্ৰেটাৰী হ'ব লাগিব। This is the third aim in life. I am not rejecting that these are not necessary. They are necessary. They are necessary. And after fame is fulfilled, then what you will require? Then what you will ask for? Or what you will be asking for? Then you want to dominate others. Then you need power. Apart from these four goals, whether the contemporary humanity has other goals beyond these four goals, personally I am not aware. A career, infinite amount of money, then fame, and then power. Our life is right now caught imprisoned within this. This four has imprisoned our life. These four things. But this is only outer stream of life. This is only outer stream of life. There is an inner stream of life. There has to be equilibrium. There has to be equilibrium. মই এটা অলপ অসমীয়াত মাতি দিছোঁ মোৰ এটা কবিতাৰ এটা শাৰী এশাৰী। সাগৰ যে ৰত্নগৰ্ভা, সাগৰ যে ৰত্নগৰ্ভা, সাগৰৰ উত্তাল তৰংগই পাৰে জানো দিব তাৰ বতৰা। আমি সাগৰ ৰত্নগৰ্ভা বুলি সকলোৱে জানো, কিন্তু সাগৰৰ পাৰত আমি গৈ লক্ষ্য কৰিছোঁ সাগৰৰ উত্তাল তৰংগ লক্ষ্য কৰিছোঁ ঢৌবোৰ। সেই ঢৌবোৰে মোক কি জনাব পাৰিব নেকি সাগৰ যে ৰত্নগৰ্ভা? সাগৰৰখনত যে ঢৌবোৰৰ বাহিৰেও সাগৰৰ তলত যে, সাগৰৰ গভীৰত যে ৰত্ন আছে, কেনেকৈ জানিম আমি অৱগাহন কৰিব লাগিব, তলত ডুব মাৰিব লাগিব। তলত ডুব মাৰিলে জানিম যে সাগৰৰ তলত ৰত্ন আছে। আৰু তাৰপিছত গম পাম এই যে যিটো সাগৰৰ তৰংগ, ইট ইজ অনলি 10% অফ দি অ'চান। এই সাগৰৰ তৰংগটোৱেই সাগৰৰ সৰ্বস্ব নহয়। দিছ ইজ নট দি হোল অফ দি অ'চান। দিছ ৱেভছ আৰ অনলি 10% অফ দি অ'চান। তাৰ 90% ঢৌ নহয়। ঠিক একেদৰে এই যে চাৰিটা বস্তুৰ যিটো ভাইব্ৰেশ্যন স্পন্দন, এই চাৰিটা আমাৰ জীৱনৰ কেৱল 10% কনষ্টিটিউট কৰে। আৱাৰ হাংগাৰ ফৰ মানি, our aspiration for a career, our aspiration for fame, and our aspiration for power. This is only 10% of our life. This is 10% of our life, but we do not know. এজন ভক্ত কবি বেংগলৰ, তেওঁৰ নাম আছিলে ৰামপ্ৰসাদ সেন। যদি মাত্ৰ দুষাৰী বাক্য আপোনালোকে যদি হৃদয়ংগম কৰিব পাৰে, কৈছে এমন মানৱ জমিন ৰইল পতি আবাদ করলে সোনা ফলতো। কৈছে এমন মানৱ জমিন ৰইল পতি, তাৰ অৰ্থ কি? কৈছে হাউ ৰিচ এন এষ্টেট ম্যান লাইজ ফেলো হিয়ার, মই অসমীয়া কৰিছিলোঁ, এনেহেন মানৱ পথাৰ পৰিৰল চন চহুৱা হ'লে সোণগুটি ওলালহেঁতেন। অৰ্থাৎ আপুনি ধৰি লওক এখন খেতি পথাৰ, মানৱৰ জীৱনটোক এখন খেতি পথাৰৰ লগত তুলনা কৰিছে। আপোনাৰ 500 বিঘা মাটি আছে, আপুনি যদি এই 500 বিঘা মাটিত খেতিয়েই কৰা নাই, এই 500 বিঘা মাটিয়ে জানো আপোনাক শইচ দিব পাৰিব? নোৱাৰে। যদি আপুনি এই 500 বিঘা মাটিত খেতি কৰে, সি সোণোৱালী শইচৰ জন্ম দিব। ঠিক সেইধৰণে কৈছে আমাৰ যিটো জীৱন, এই যে 90% অফ জীৱন is yet to be explored, is yet to be explored. Only the 10, we are concerned with the 10% of our life, which is only the outer stream of life. There is an inner stream of life. All human values, directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously, driving you towards the inner stream of your life. And that is why transformation is a necessity. That is why transformation of your life is a necessity. So then, what is the meaning of transformation? Just let me give you a clue and then conclude. Just let me give you a clue and then I will be concluding. Or rather, I should conclude here because the electricity has gone. So I will be taking up this issue in the next session. Thank you.